Hey, this is Troy with stayinthecourt.com, the puffy jacket version. Today, we are talking about, oh, am I going to get this wrong? We are at practice 15. So this is preparation for practice 15 for my boys' fifth grade basketball team. All right, so let's get to the sheet. I'll try and make this quick today. So I will actually be late to practice. We practice at a middle school, and my daughter is in a choir concert at the middle school. So our practice time and the choir concert start at the exact same time. So I'm going to take my equipment over there, drop it off, and then I've got one of my dads who's been helping a little bit, kicking off practice. So I had sent him a couple of drills, or I said, if he's got something, just keep him busy for 30, 40 minutes until I can get there. So the one thing I gave him was it's officially called 2-on-1 with a chaser. I call it cones. I know I've probably talked about it in previous videos, but it may be one of my favorite things. I will not go through it because you've probably seen it over the course of the year if you're following along. But it's a win-win. It's pretty high energy. Kids like it. Keeps all the kids busy. Then I suggested going and doing our read and react drill, which is what we do for our warm-ups. It's just a series of, it gets just a lot of shots and people touching the ball. So it's, almost like a layup drill, except the kids are kind of simulating pass and cut and then pass and back cut. And then there's a little variation to just, get the kids, pitching the ball out to the side, going out and grabbing it with a jump stop, pivoting, and then they hit a player at the elbow for a shot, or I just tell them to do game realistic shots. So that may keep him busy. I also gave him the sideline out of bounds plays, baseline out of bounds plays, if he can get to them. Those we just like to review at least once a week. The kids are getting there, but definitely on the sideline out of bounds play, we could use a little more practice. So once I get back in, there's a ton of things I want to hit, and I thought the best thing to do was going to be just do a scrimmage. So we may scrimmage the last 30, 40 minutes of the game, but it's going to be very purposeful. So I'll divide the kids into two teams. I think I'm going to have all 11 kids there, at least at some point tonight. And so I will, coach them as kind of separate teams, and I'll put them in different scenarios. So, this 300 defense is what we're calling. All the kids seem to like it. Worked pretty well last week. So it's really kind of, it's man-to-man, but is more, it is more of a Virginia style defense, where the actual term is escaping me here. So I'm going to pause and look it up. Pack line defense is what I'm looking for. So that is, I think I'll have both of the teams play in pack line. We'll be, during the scrimmage, I will be trying to emphasize that, whoever is on the ball's got to, recover, close out, sprint and sit, and get back to their man. And then obviously practicing, the help side piece as well. Then, what we're finding is, we're getting people kind of we're really giving up that mid-range shot, especially if our guys late recovering, and the three-point shot. Teams we're playing this weekend in a tournament, I think that's going to be okay. But if it's not, we may have to go back to a more traditional man-to-man defense. But then when we're funneling them into the lane, which is what a lot of this is, just teaching the guys not to foul. I do have a couple of taller players, and just they've just got to wall up, go straight up. Once someone is at the basket, just don't bail them out with a foul. So then we're going to just vary between the two teams. We'll have one run just a normal 5-out pass and cut, stressing on making full cuts. For both teams, I want to stress pitching the ball down the court to the open team. Then I'll probably call a timeout, and I will allow one of the teams to put on a 2-1-2 press. So we get a little practice with applying our press, which we may or may not need. And then we really do need the help with the press break. So I'll just switch things up. And then eventually, I'll have one team maybe take off the press. And then maybe I'll switch one team to our Zoom offense, which we've been slowly putting in, which is just a real variation on a small variation on a normal motion offense where it's a dribble out action, and then the wing goes down to screen for the 4 or 5 man. They come up on a take the screen, come up for a handoff, and that presents then a lot of opportunities because it usually attracts a lot of attention from the defense. So we're going to go through all of that. Then I'm going to introduce the subject again. I guess kudos to savvycoach.com. I think his name is Tyler Costin. And when he's talking about rebounding, he talks about assigning people what he calls erasers, spacers, and chasers. And I like that term. So, eraser, if you're an eraser, you just have to erase the other rebounder. So that's, hard box out, getting a body on them. If you are not in a position where you can be an eraser, then we need you to be a spacer, which is essentially helping, help the kids understand, we want those 3 spots around the basket. And if you are looking for a place to go and you see 2 of the spots are already filled, maybe on either side of the basket, then you may want to take that middle part of the basket. And we'll kind of go over some probabilities of where rebounds go. And then the chaser is, if you're not an eraser or a spacer, or maybe if you're smaller and quicker, you're chasing after those loose balls that come bouncing out. So you've got your erasers, spacers, and chasers. So we will spend the rest of the time going through scrimmage and real life basketball situations, which I think is going to do as good a job as any of getting through all this different material I wanted to get through before we have our 3-game tournament. We play 2 games on Saturday, and then hopefully the championship on Sunday. But it's a 6-team tournament with pools of 3. So if you win your pool, then you go to the championship game. All right, so that's it for this week. I don't think we're going to get anything else done during this practice, and then that is our last practice for the winter season. So we'll break for about 2 weeks. I'll probably do a summary video on how things went this year. There's definitely some things that I would have improved upon. I broke my promise of just having fun practices, but I'll talk about all that and do a fall season wrap up. If you want to get a hold of me, troy.wallace@stayonthecourt.com, or just go to stayonthecourt.com and get on the email list. There are lots of buttons there. It's pretty obvious if you go to the site and get on our email list. And again, if you want access to any of these libraries I have, I'm certainly happy to share anything. Or if you have questions, certainly either you can comment in the YouTube video or reach out to me directly. All right, that's it. Thanks.